The alarm clock screamed at 4:30 a.m., but Marcus had already been awake for an hour, not because he wanted to be, not because he was some productivity guru who'd figured out the secret to success, but because the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck had a way of waking you up before dawn, your mind racing through calculations: rent due in 5 days, 2 kids needing school supplies, Elena's worried face every time they checked their bank account. Marcus was 30 years old and he was exhausted, not just physically tired from working his sales job during the day and selling pizza slices at the night market until 11 p.m. He was soul tired, dream tired. The kind of tired that makes you wonder if this is all there is to life. But here's the thing about Marcus that he didn't even realize yet. He was closer to changing his life than he thought. He just didn't know it because he was waiting for something that doesn't exist. He was waiting for the perfect time, the trap of someday. Growing up in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in Detroit with his single mother and 3 siblings, Marcus had learned early that life doesn't hand you opportunities on a silver platter. His mom worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. There was no college fund, no safety net, no plan B. When Marcus graduated high school, he didn't walk across a stage to cheers and celebration. He walked straight into a job at a warehouse, because that's what you did when you had bills to pay and a family that needed help. Someday, he told himself back then. Someday, he repeated at 25 after marrying Alina and welcoming their first child, when things settled down. Someday, he whispered at 28, staring at his meager savings account, when I have more money saved up. Now at 30, Marcus was still waiting. And that someday, it never seemed to come. The truth that Marcus didn't understand yet, the truth that keeps millions of people trapped in lives they don't want, is this: the perfect time doesn't exist. It never has. It never will. The Sunday that changed everything, that particular Sunday, started like any other day off. Marcus took his family to visit his parents in the countryside, grateful for a break from the city's relentless pace. While Alina and the kids enjoyed time with their grandparents, Marcus decided to take a walk. That's when he ran into Mr. Thomas. Marcus had known Mr. Thomas since childhood. The older man had been his mother's friend, someone who'd occasionally slip them extra vegetables from his garden when times were particularly tough. But Marcus hadn't seen him in years. What he discovered shocked him. Mr. Thomas, now in his 60s, wasn't the struggling farmer Marcus remembered. He owned a thriving organic farm, supplied restaurants across 3 counties, and had recently opened a farm-to-table store in town. The man was genuinely successful. Mr. Thomas? Marcus couldn't help but ask, "How did you do it? You were working at the factory when I was a kid. Now look at you." Mr. Thomas smiled, wiping dirt from his hands. "Sit down, son. I'll tell you something that took me way too long to figure out. The cost of waiting. I was 45 years old," Mr. Thomas began, "when I finally started this farm. You know what that means? I wasted 20 years waiting for the right time." 20 years, Marcus? He let that sink in. "I had every excuse in the book. Not enough money, not enough experience, kids to feed, bills to pay. The economy was bad. The timing wasn't right. I told myself I'd start when I had 50,000 saved up. You know what I had when I finally started?" Marcus shook his head. 3,000. And a whole lot of fear. But you know what I'd figured out by then? Every year I waited, I wasn't getting any younger, any richer, or any more prepared. I was just getting older. Time doesn't wait for you to be ready, Marcus. It just passes. Marcus felt something shift inside his chest. How many times had he told himself the same things? But here's what really changed for me. Mr. Thomas continued, leaning forward. I met a man at the factory younger than me, who started a small car detailing business on weekends. Nothing fancy, he'd wash cars in his driveway. 1 year later, he quit the factory. 2 years later, he had a shop. 3 years later, he had 3 locations. I asked him the same question you just asked me. Want to know what he said? Marcus nodded, hanging on every word. He said, I stopped waiting for perfect and started working with what I had. That's it. That's the whole secret that successful people know and broke people don't. The real question. Mr. Thomas stood up, gesturing toward his flourishing farm. You know what the perfect time is, Marcus. It's the time you decide to start. Not when you have enough money, because there's never enough. Not when you have enough knowledge, because you learn by doing. Not when you feel ready, because you'll never feel completely ready. He looked Marcus straight in the eye. The perfect time is when you stop making excuses and start making moves. Marcus felt exposed, like Mr. Thomas could see right through all his justifications and fears. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, Mr. Thomas clarified. I'm saying stop treating your dreams like they're something that'll happen someday. Someday is a disease. It'll kill your dreams while you're busy making plans. Over the next 2 hours, Mr. Thomas laid out something that Marcus had never considered. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You need to start to create better conditions. When I finally began this farm, Mr. Thomas explained, I didn't have land. I rented a tiny plot. I didn't have equipment. I borrowed tools. I didn't have customers. I knocked on restaurant doors until someone gave me a chance. It was messy. It was hard. It was imperfect. But here's what happened with every small step I learned. I earned, I grew. Not just my business, I grew as a person. The confidence I lacked, I built it by doing. The knowledge I needed, I gained it by trying and failing and trying again. Marcus thought about his pizza business. He'd been running it for 2 years now, always keeping it small, always keeping it safe, always waiting for the right time to expand. What are you waiting for? Thomas asked, reading his mind. Marcus didn't have a good answer. The wake-up call as the sun began to set and Marcus prepared to head home. Thomas shared one final thought that would haunt Marcus in the best possible way. You know what the saddest thing is, Marcus? It's not people who try and fail. Those people at least have stories to tell, lessons learned, character built. The saddest thing is people who wait their entire lives for perfect conditions and die with their dreams still inside them. He put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Your kids are watching you. What are you teaching them? To wait for perfect? Or to build with what they have? That question hit Marcus like a freight train. 6 months later, Marcus didn't quit his job the next day. But he did stop waiting. He stopped waiting to expand his menu. He added 3 new items that week. He stopped waiting to get a better location. He negotiated with the market manager for a premium spot. He stopped waiting to learn marketing. He spent 30 minutes every morning watching free YouTube tutorials. Were conditions perfect? No. Did he have enough money? No. Was he completely ready? No. But he was moving. And movement, Marcus learned, creates its own momentum. 6 months after that conversation with Mr. Thomas, Marcus's night business had tripled. He'd hired his first employee, his teenage nephew who needed work. He'd started saving real money. And most importantly, he'd stopped being the guy who dreams and started being the guy who does. The perfect time never came, but success did. If you're reading this and something in your chest feels tight, pay attention to that feeling. That's your dreams calling. Maybe you're waiting to start that business until you have more money. Maybe you're waiting to go back to school until your kids are older. Maybe you're waiting to pursue that passion until your current job gets better. Here's your wake-up call. Stop waiting. Not recklessly, not foolishly, but deliberately, strategically, with whatever you have, from wherever you are. The perfect time is a myth that keeps poor people poor and dreamers dreaming. The real time, the only time that matters, is now. What's one small step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Take it, because someday isn't a day of the week, and the life you want won't wait forever. Your move.